Have you ever seen your dog bark at an empty hallway, or stare into a dark corner like they're watching something move, or spin in tight circles before lying down, almost like they're following some invisible rule? It feels weird, but what if they're not imagining things? What if your dog is sensing something that's completely real to them, just invisible to us? In this video, we're counting down 14 bizarre things only dogs can detect, from sounds too high for us to hear to subtle changes in the air before a storm hits. And make sure you stick around till number 1, because it might explain something about your dog you've always wondered, but never quite understood. Let's jump in. Number 14. The Earth's Invisible Compass. Have you ever watched your dog spin in tight circles before they finally go to the bathroom? Maybe 2-3 turns, sometimes more. It looks funny. Silly, even. But what if that little dance isn't random? What if your dog is syncing with the planet itself? See, inside your dog is something remarkable. A built-in compass. Researchers found that dogs tend to align their bodies north to south when they do their business. Not east-west. Not any direction. Just that invisible north-south line, like they're tuning into a frequency you and I can't hear. Imagine walking into the woods blindfolded and somehow knowing exactly where north is. Your dog does that every single day. Scientists believe it's connected to Earth's magnetic field, the same force birds use to migrate and sea turtles use to return home. It's ancient. It's primal. And your dog has it. And here's what's wild. This might be the same instinct that helps lost dogs find their way back home over miles, through cities, even after years. No GPS, no scent trail, just something silent pulling at their core. So next time you see your dog spin in circles in the grass, pause. They're not stalling. They're aligning, calibrating with a force older than any map. And if you're wondering, is that compass helping them with more than just potty breaks? Well, let's just say what comes next proves your dog sees things even in the pitch black that you'll never catch, no matter how wide you open your eyes. Let's move on to number 13. Supercharged Night Vision. Have you ever wondered how your dog glides through the house at night, like it's broad daylight, while you're bumping into tables squinting for the light switch? It's not luck. It's not muscle memory. It's something far more powerful. Your dog sees in the dark. Not just better than you, but almost like they were built for it. Behind their eyes is a mirror. Not the kind you hang on a wall, but a biological one called the tapetum lucidum. It reflects any bit of light back through the eye, giving them a second chance to catch what you miss. Picture walking into a dark forest with only one match. You light it. Once it fades. But your dog. Their eyes strike that match twice. And it doesn't stop there. Dogs have far more rod cells in their eyes, cells that specialize in low light and movement. That means a flicker, a twitch, the tail of a mouse under moonlight. They catch it. You blink, and it's gone. This is why your dog can leap off the porch at midnight chasing what you never saw. Why they pause in the dark corner of your hallway, eyes alert. They're not imagining things. They're seeing what you can't. And if you think this ability is just for fun or hunting, wait until you hear what else they see. Because next, we're stepping into a wavelength you've never known existed. A colorless spectrum glowing beneath your feet. And your dog, they've been reading it like a neon map. Get ready for number 12. Hidden UV patterns. You've probably heard the old myth dogs only see in black and white. But what if I told you that's not just wrong, it's wildly off? The truth is your dog sees something you'll never see in your lifetime. Ultraviolet light. Imagine walking through your house and seeing glowing footprints on the floor. or stepping outside and watching flower petals light up like signs on a runway. That's what your dog sees. Not colors the way we do, but a hidden layer of reality. A world of secret signals. To you, a patch of sidewalk might look clean. To your dog, it's a glowing trail left behind by another animal. Maybe a message. Maybe a warning. That odd moment when your dog stops dead in their tracks, sniffing what looks like nothing. They're reading what's invisible to you. A scent glowing like invisible ink under a black light. Even your laundry tells stories. Detergents, perfumes, many of them reflect UV. So when your dog presses their nose into your shirt, they might not just be smelling you. They might be seeing traces of your day. And here's something to think about. What else is marked with patterns we can't see, but they can? Other dogs, wildlife. They're walking through a world overlaid with invisible signs, and they've been decoding it long before we knew it existed. But if you think seeing hidden light is impressive, wait till you find out what your dog hears. Because next, we're going beyond silence into a soundscape that only their ears can enter. Let's go to number 11. High-frequency whistles. Have you ever seen your dog suddenly perk up ears, twitching eyes sharp, while the room feels completely silent to you? Maybe you thought, what did they just hear? The answer is something you never will. Dogs hear high frequencies. Sounds that float above our hearing range like whispers in a language we'll never understand. While most humans top out at around $20,000, Hertz dogs can detect frequencies up to 45,000 howls. That's not just more, it's a whole new dimension of sound. To them, silence is rarely silent. The buzz of a streetlight, the whine of a charger, the squeak of a mouse behind the wall. It's all there, loud and clear. You're sipping coffee. They're listening to a private concert only they're invited to. It's also why they respond to silent dog whistles. Those high-pitched tools don't sound like magic. They're just speaking your dog's natural language. And it's why vacuums, hair dryers, or even power tools might stress them out more than you realize. Imagine if your blender screamed like a siren, only you could hear. So the next time your dog barks at nothing or stares into space, like someone's calling them trust their ears. They're hearing things you'll never pick up on. But this isn't the only frequency they're tuned into. What if I told you your dog also hears what the earth says before the sky ever changes? Because up next comes a sound you don't hear. But they do. And sometimes it's the sound of a storm not yet born. Let's get into number 10. Infrasound Alerts Before Disasters. Have you ever noticed your dog pacing the house before a thunderstorm? Even when the sky is still blue? Or hiding under the bed hours before the first raindrop falls? It's not superstition. It's science. Your dog is hearing a sound you can't, a warning that nature whispers early. It's called infrasound. These are ultra-low frequency waves, deep rumbles that travel through the ground and air before storms, earthquakes, even volcanic eruptions. Humans don't register them, but dogs do. Imagine the earth exhaling before something shifts. Your dog hears that breath. This is why sometimes your pup gets restless without a clear reason. They're not anxious. They're receiving a message, one you'll only understand hours later when the sky cracks open or the floor starts to move. For them, it's not just noise. It's a survival signal passed down from wild ancestors who had to run before danger arrived. There are real stories of dogs whining, scratching at doors, even waking up sleeping families minutes before earthquakes struck. Some have even saved lives simply by refusing to stay quiet. So the next time your dog starts acting off before a calm day turns chaotic, pay attention. They're not just sensitive, they're wired to hear the planet's pulse. And speaking of pressure, what if your dog could sense the air itself shifting before a single cloud appears? Because next, we're talking about a sense so subtle, it's like reading the weather with their skin. Get ready for number 9. Pressure drops before the rain. You know that heavy feeling in the air right before a storm? That quiet tension, like the sky is holding its breath. Now, imagine feeling that same pressure drop 10 times sharper. That's what your dog lives with. Dogs are natural barometers. Their bodies react to even the slightest change in air pressure, something that happens long before you hear thunder or see clouds. It's like the atmosphere shifts, and your dog reads it through their skin. Have you ever noticed your dog clinging closer to you, hours before it rains, or pacing, whining, looking out the window, like they know something's coming? It's not coincidence. It's instinct. They're wired to notice the subtle dip in pressure, a signal that used to mean one thing in the wild fine shelter. Now, their ancestors didn't have weather apps. They had the wind, the weight of the air, the way their ears felt just before the sky broke open. And that sensitivity never left. Even if your day looks sunny, your dog might already be preparing for a storm. That nervous energy, that sudden stillness. It's not mood swings, it's a built-in radar. But pressure isn't the only invisible force dogs react to. What if I told you the glowing screen you watch every night doesn't even look the same to your dog? Because next we're diving into the strange truth about TV screens and why your dog might see them as flickering ghosts. Let's move into number 8. Flickering screens. Have you ever noticed your dog stare at the TV, tilt their head, then suddenly lose interest and walk away? Or maybe they bark at the screen like it's alive even when nothing's moving. It's not random. It's not about what's on. It's about how they see it. To you, your television looks smooth and seamless, a flowing picture. But to your dog, it's flashing, literally. What your eyes blend into, motion theirs catch, as rapid-fire frames, like a strobe light pulsing over and over again. You're watching a movie. They're watching a flickering box that can feel overwhelming or confusing. That's because dogs have a higher flicker fusion rate, the speed at which flashing light turns into fluid motion. Your human eyes average around 60 hertz, dogs closer to 75. Or even 80. So while you're watching a calm scene, they might be seeing a relentless blink, blink, blink like an old projector gone wild. And this could explain so much: why some dogs ignore screens completely, and others react with fascination or fear. Why certain scenes seem to catch their attention, while others leave them disoriented. Your dog isn't ignoring your favorite show. They're just seeing it in a way you never will. But what if I told you their sensitivity goes deeper beneath the floor, through the walls, into the ground itself? Because next, we're not just hearing or seeing. We're feeling. And your dog? They've been picking up footsteps and vibrations long before you even get out of your chair. Let's go to number 7. Ground vibrations. Have you ever wondered how your dog races to the front door before anyone even knocks? Or how they start wagging the moment your car turns onto the driveway before you've even opened the gate? It's not magic. It's movement. But not the kind you hear. The kind they feel. Dogs are natural seismographs. Their paws are loaded with receptors tuned to even the faintest ground vibrations. A footstep on the sidewalk, a car engine humming down the street, a delivery truck shifting gears 5 houses away. You don't hear it. You don't feel it. But your dog does, and they react like it's already arrived. It's almost like they're living in a constant early warning system, one tap on the earth, and their whole body reads the message. Their ears lift. Their breath changes. Their body tenses not in fear, but focus. Think about their wild ancestors, feeling the thud of a predator approaching, the distant stamp of hooves. Movement meant survival. And that ability, it's still alive under your dog's fur, ready to act the second the ground whispers. So next time your dog bolts to the window for no reason, pause. There was a reason. You just didn't feel it. And if that gives you chills, hold on. Because what happens when your dog hears something not under the ground, but inside the walls, that eerie stare into nothing, that sudden bark at a blank ceiling? Next, we're going somewhere even more mysterious. Let's talk about number 6. Tiny critters in the walls. Have you ever caught your dog frozen, staring at a wall like something's moving behind it? Or barking at the ceiling in the dead of night when everything feels still? It's unsettling. But your dog isn't being paranoid. They're being precise. Dogs have hearing so sharp it borders on supernatural. While you're enjoying silence, they're picking up the faintest scratches, the tiniest rustles. A mouse exploring the attic. A bug crawling inside the drywall. A wasp buzzing deep in the vent. To your ears, nothing. To theirs, a full-blown symphony. Imagine living in a house with paper walls and your ears turned up to 11. That's your dog's reality. Every tick-tap flutter they log it, process it, decide if it matters. Their brain doesn't say, maybe later. It says, check it now. And that reaction you see, barking at empty space, staring at corners like they see ghosts, it's ancient instinct. It's survival. Their wild ancestors listened for underground prey, for movement beneath the surface. Today those instincts still fire, just adapted to drywall and ducts. So, when your dog seems fixated on that one spot above the fridge, trust them. Something's there. You just haven't noticed yet. But what if I told you that their superpowers don't stop at sound or sight? What if they could actually feel your presence, not with their heart, but with their nose? Because next, your dog is going to detect something even more personal. Get ready for number 5, heat detection. Have you ever noticed your dog press their nose gently against your skin like they're testing something, or curl up right beside you when you're feeling off, long before you even realize you're coming down with something that's not just affection, it's detection? Your dog's nose isn't just a smell machine, it's also a thermal scanner. Recent research shows dogs can sense subtle changes in body heat, like a living infrared camera built into their snout. To you, heat is just warmth. To your dog, it's a story. A moving signature that tells them who's alive, who's near, who's in pain, or who needs comfort. In the wild, this skill helped them track prey in the dark. A wounded animal, a warm trail on cold ground. At home, that same ability turns inward, toward you. So when your dog rests their face near your chest or nose against your hand, they're not just cuddling. They're reading you, taking in clues that even you don't know you're giving off. Fever coming on. They might know before the thermometer does. Feeling low, anxious, drained, they might pick up on the warmth that emotion stirs. They follow heat the way we follow facial expressions. Quiet, precise, instinctual. But what if they could go even deeper? What if beyond body warmth, your dog could actually smell your feelings? Because coming up next, we're entering one of the strangest, most beautiful truths of all. Let's step into number 4, emotional sense. Have you ever had a bad day, sat down in silence, and suddenly your dog is right there beside you, head on your lap, eyes soft, like they know they do? But not because of your face or your voice, because of your smell. When you feel something deeply stress, sadness, excitement, your body shifts. Tiny chemical changes happen in your sweat, your breath, even your skin. You don't notice them, but your dog does. Instantly. With up to 300 million scent receptors in their nose, compared to your 6 million dogs, don't just smell things, they smell states of being. To them, happiness has a scent. So does anxiety, grief, fear, even love. That's why therapy dogs don't need training to comfort. They're following the scent trail of human emotion. And that's why your dog might act protective when you're nervous or calm, when you're trying to hold it together. Some studies show dogs can detect diseases, pregnancy, even oncoming seizures. But perhaps more astonishing is how personal their radar gets. You don't have to speak. They're already reading you molecule by molecule. So next time your dog leans in when you're not saying a word, remember, they don't need to hear your story. They smelled it walking through the door. And if you think that's intimate, what comes next might move you even more. Because now we're going inside your body to the very beat of your heart. Let's move into number 3. Internal body sounds. Have you ever felt your dog rest their head right on your chest and stay there still as if listening to something no one else can hear? They are. Beneath the silence, your body is speaking, and your dog is tuned in. Dogs can hear the softest, faintest sounds, including what's happening inside you. The steady thump of your heartbeat, the rhythm of your breathing, even the subtle shifts as your body moves, rests, or struggles. Where we hear nothing, they hear you. Think about it. In a quiet room, your dog curls up close not just for warmth, but for confirmation. That you're alive, steady, safe. That beat under your skin. To them, it's like a lighthouse in the dark. It's why they follow you from room to room, lie beside you at night, or suddenly press in closer when you're feeling off. They're not just being loyal. They're listening to the pulse of their person. Some say dogs and humans share a bond stronger than words. But maybe it's deeper than that. Maybe it's rhythm. Maybe it's the music of life itself and your dog. They've memorized your song. And yet, even with all that closeness, your dog notices something you don't even catch in the mirror. A twitch, a glance, a shift in your shoulders. Up next is a skill so sharp it's almost like mind reading. Let's step into number 2. Micro body language. Have you ever noticed your dog head to the door before you even say walk or wag their tail the moment you touch your shoes without a single word exchanged? That's not coincidence. That's fluency. Your dog reads you like a book, not through language, but through movement. Tiny, almost invisible clues. A shift in your breathing, the way you glance at the clock, how you pick up your keys, even how your shoulders tilt when you're about to stand. You barely notice it. But your dog memorized it on day 1. They track patterns. They anticipate. Because their brain is wired for survival and connection. In the wild, knowing what another pack member was about to do could mean the difference between a meal and a missed chance, or danger and safety. At home, it's become something more tender, more personal. That's why your dog jumps up before you've even spoken. Why they curl closer when your posture sags from a bad day. Why they stare at you not just to beg, but to understand. And when you try to hide your feelings, your dog already knows. Your face tightens. Your breath changes. They've seen it before. They've felt it in their bones. So no, you don't need to say anything. They're already 2 steps ahead of you. But what if they sense something, even you don't see coming? Because next, we step into the most mysterious of all. The moment your dog stares into a corner of the room and doesn't blink. Let's talk about number 1. Unseen presences. Have you ever seen your dog freeze, staring into a dark room, eyes locked on something you can't see? Maybe they growl, maybe they back away, and maybe, just for a second, your heart skips too, because deep down you feel it too. Something's there. It's one of the oldest stories in the bond between humans and dogs. Dogs reacting to what we can't explain. Empty rooms, corners of the house, a place they suddenly refuse to enter. It gives you chills. Because what are they sensing? Science offers a few answers. Maybe it's faint infrasound like we heard about earlier. Maybe a cold draft, or a scent only they can detect. A vibration in the floor, a shadow cast just right. All real, all explainable. But sometimes, it doesn't feel like science. Sometimes your dog stares into that space with such intensity, such stillness, it's like they're seeing someone, not something. And maybe, just maybe they are. Whether you believe in the unseen or not, your dog responds to it with instinct that hasn't changed for thousands of years. They're protectors, watchers, companions, and when they sense something strange, they don't look away. They alert you, like a silent alarm for another realm. So next time your dog pauses ears forward, eyes fixed on nothing, don't dismiss it. They might be catching signals from a world we'll never understand. Because your dog, they don't just love you. They guard the edge of everything you can't see. And now that you've seen what your dog sees, you'll never look at them the same way again. So now you know your dog doesn't just bark at nothing, spin in circles, or curl up beside you for no reason. They're reading a world layered beneath ours. A world of signals, scents, sounds, and senses we'll never fully grasp. And through all of it, they choose to stay close to you. Maybe that's the real wonder. Every vibration, every shift in the air, every emotion you carry, your dog feels it, reacts to it, guards you through it, not out of fear, but out of a bond that's quiet, primal, and absolutely unbreakable. So the next time your dog stares into a shadow, or presses against your side when you're down, or refuses to enter a room, pause. Don't brush it off. Because your dog may be sensing something you're not ready to see. And maybe that's what love looks like when it doesn't need words. If one of these moments reminded you of your dog, I'd love to hear it. Drop your story in the comments. Someone else out there might read it and say, mine does the exact same thing. And if you found something here that made you feel closer to your pup, stick around. There's so much more waiting in the world they see that we don't.